It was the summer of 2002, and I was 8 years old. My parents had gifted me their old Nintendo 64 along with a handful of games. Among them was The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I had no idea how significant that game was in gaming history, but for me it was just another adventure to get lost in. The game quickly became an obsession. Every day after school, I'd rush home to boot up the console and guide Link through Hyrule. I loved exploring Kokiri Forest and riding Epona across the fields. It felt like the game was alive, like Hyrule was a place I could escape to. But everything changed one late August evening. I had just finished the Forest Temple and saved my game before going to bed. When I turned the game on the next day, something felt off. The title screen music was slower, distorted, like a record player dragging its notes. I dismissed it as a glitch and loaded my save. I appeared in Kokiri Forest, but it wasn't how I remembered it. The once vibrant trees were now dark and twisted, like shadows with jagged edges. The cheerful music was gone, replaced by faint whispers, so soft I couldn't make out the words. I thought it might be a corrupted save file, but curiosity kept me playing. As I walked around, I noticed the Kokiri villagers were gone. Their houses stood empty, their doors ajar as if they'd fled. I approached Link's house, hoping it would reset whatever was wrong. That's when I saw the first message. A text box appeared, unprompted. "Why did you leave us?" I blinked, confused. I hadn't pressed any buttons. Before I could react, another text box appeared. "You abandoned us. You let us rot." Panic set in. I turned the console off, thinking it was some weird prank or that the cartridge was defective. But when I turned it back on, I was met not with the title screen, but with Link's house again. The whispers were louder this time, overlapping and frantic. I tried to exit the house, but Link wouldn't move. Instead, his head turned slowly toward the screen as if staring directly at me. Another text box appeared. "You can't leave." I yanked the controller out of the console, but the game continued as if I'd done nothing. Link began moving on his own, walking out of the house and into the forest. The screen dimmed and the whispers grew into screams. I could only watch as Link wandered through the twisted Kokiri forest. The Deku tree, once a guardian, was now a withered husk, with hollow eyes that followed Link. As he approached, more text boxes appeared. "You let them die. We trusted you." Suddenly, the screen cut to black. When it returned, Link was standing in Hyrule Field, but something was wrong. The field was endless, stretching in every direction. The sky was an angry red, and the only sound was a low, droning hum. A shadow appeared in the distance, growing larger as it approached. It was too far away to make out details, but it moved unnaturally, jerking and twitching like a marionette with its strings tangled. As it drew closer, I realized it was Link, another Link, but his face was wrong. His eyes were pitch black and his mouth stretched into a jagged, unnatural grin. The other Link stopped a few feet from mine and drew his sword. A text box appeared. "You took everything from us. Now it's your turn." The other Link attacked. I tried to fight back, but my Link wouldn't draw his sword. He just stood there as it struck, again and again. Each hit caused the screen to glitch, the hum growing louder with each blow. When my health finally dropped to zero, the screen froze. For a moment, there was silence. Then, a final text box appeared. "You can't run." The game reset to the title screen, but the music was gone entirely. I stared at the screen, heart pounding, before turning the console off. I wanted to believe it was just a corrupted cartridge, but something deep inside me knew better. That night, I dreamed of the game. The whispers followed me into my sleep, growing louder and clearer. "You can't run, you can't hide." When I woke up, the N64 was on, the cartridge glowing faintly in the dark. I swear I hadn't touched it. On the screen was Link, standing in the endless Hyrule field, staring directly at me. The whispers weren't coming from the game anymore. They were coming from inside my room. I never touched the game again. The console stayed in the attic, gathering dust. But even now, 20 years later, I still hear the whispers sometimes, faint and fleeting. And every time I dream, it's always the same. The endless field, the red sky, and that twisted version of Link, smiling.